This episode is brought to you by Wix. What's up guys, Jared here, and today we're talking about the surprising head-scratcher of a season finale for South Park Season 22. The final two episodes, Unfulfilled and Bike Parade, are the first and probably only time you'll see the show quoting the Communist Manifesto.
And from their very essence, the oppressed worker will eventually strike back at those capitalists who control the means of production. We have nothing to lose but our chains.
So have Matt Stone and Trey Parker turned against big business like the denizens of South Park? Well, let's find out in this Wisecrack edition on the finale of South Park Season 22, and obviously, spoilers ahead. But before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at Wix. Wix is the easiest way to create awesome professional websites. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I'm trying to make some side money doing voiceover work, so let me show you how I created my professional site with voice samples. So here, I want to create a website for myself, and you can see they have a whole bunch of options. So a business, nah, designer, photography, no, I want to build a portfolio and CV. And yeah, I pretty much suck at computers. Turns out, there's already a template for voiceover artists. I picked a style, and within minutes I was dragging and dropping my audio files, and bam, done. Now I have a site I can send to potential clients, and it looks good. So, if you're looking to up your game before 2019, go to wix.com/wisecrack or click the link in the description to start making your free website today. And now, back to the show. Alright guys, first a quick recap. In Unfulfilled, an Amazon fulfillment center comes to town where a workplace accident crushes a guy named Josh, and his surviving organs are crammed in a box.
No, my organs have been compacted, so if the box opens, I spill out and die.
His boxed organs agitate for working class rebellion, causing Amazon's employees to go on strike. Meanwhile, the kids want to flex at the bike parade to get girls, but can't deck out their bikes without their Amazon packages. Then, in Bike Parade, mall workers try to break the strike, and anyone willing to help Jeff Bezos gets their orders fulfilled. Once Kenny's newfound socialist beliefs ruin their plans for the parade,
"You're not gonna do the bike parade." "Well, why not?"
"It's complicated. I should have to do it plus I wasn't planning on fetishism."
"Commodity fetishism?"
the boys try to get it canceled. Meanwhile, Randy's struggling weed business gets a boost from everyone jonesing for their Amazon packages. Stoned and content, the citizens of South Park realize they'd rather keep their integrity than suck a Bezosian dick. To figure out what Matt and Trey are saying about the economy, we have to start with this intro montage of the Amazon Fulfillment Center.
You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
The song playing, 16 Tons, has a million covers, but the original was written by Merle Travis about the life of coal miners in Kentucky. The song highlights the troubles of living in company towns, a common practice that faded out in the middle of the 20th century. Company towns were places where a single employer dominated economic life. Sometimes companies would open a factory and literally build the housing, schools, and hospitals for its employees. But more importantly, companies would pay their employees with their own version of V-Bucks that were only redeemable at company-owned businesses. What resulted was functionally slavery with extra steps. Workers could never move because all their savings were useless outside of the company store.
St. Peter, don't you call me, cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
And running up a debt at the company store would further obligate you to stay until you paid it off. So is South Park calling Amazon a modern-day company town? Sure, Amazon isn't paying people in Prime Bucks, and there's no debt slavery either. But Amazon does seem to infiltrate every aspect of South Park life.
What you got on tap? Amazon, Amazon Light, and Amazon IPA.
But especially in episode 10, we see that the primary motivation for working at Amazon is to buy your kids more stuff from Amazon. Mr. Stotch's motivation for going back to work is to have his orders fulfilled for Butter's Peacock bike. And like the Merle Travis song, your paycheck has a way of ending up right back into the company store.
Loading up forklifts, getting paper cuts from boxes, and for what? A measly paycheck that just barely covers our online purchases.
And while the people of South Park, in theory, could take their real dollars to some other businesses, the show hints at how big business coming to town can create a not-so-free market. When the boys try to find supplies to protest the bike parade, all the other businesses have gone under.
Yeah, well, when the Amazon Fulfillment Center opened, everything else went out of business.
A similar dynamic happens not just with Amazon, but Walmart, where low-paid employees only had enough money to shop at Walmart.
You get a discount working here, 10%.
That means the bargains are even better.
ensuring the destruction of local businesses, driving more people to work at Walmart, and, well, you get it. This problem seems encapsulated by Jeff Bezos' term, consumer worker.
Before there was war between classes, customers and workers at odds. All I've done is create the new class, the consumer worker.
Doubling down on the same sense of resignation that pervades the season, people support a company they don't even like because they feel they don't have any choice.
I want to quit working for Amazon. I want to join my friends in striking, but I know that you have to have your stuff to be happy.
This hopelessness is also a nod to the real-life bidding war to host Amazon's second headquarters. As you probably know, Matt Stone and Trey Parker are libertarians, and the last two episodes seem to further a criticism of government involvement in the market. Specifically the way business-minded politicians get in bed with giant corporations to create a grotesque version of the free market. If the workers are selling their soul to the company store, towns and governments are selling their soul to Jeff Bezos' throbbing skull.
We had a deal, Mayor. You told me this town would be the perfect place for one of our fulfillment centers.
The creation of jobs holds local governments functionally hostage to their whims.
Perhaps you should no longer be a prime member.
And while yes, Amazon fulfillment centers are a good example, you could easily replace Amazon with any sports stadium or manufacturer seeking tax breaks that force local governments into a race to the bottom in deals that leave them another day older and deeper in debt. In short, the show criticizes the imbalance of power between companies like Amazon and local communities and their workers. Amazon dehumanizes the strikers when their status is downgraded from prime to
Amazon USDA choice.
as in meat. And Josh's humanity is exactly what gets him killed when Amazon labels his death.
Human error!
So is there any escape from this nightmare? Well, sort of. As Randy bemoans the strike messing up his business, customers start lining up at his door.
Hey, are you selling weed?
Yeah?
My wife is going nuts not getting her packages. I told her I'd find her some kush.
Local competition soon forces Randy to optimize convenience by delivering weed to people's homes, starting an app,
We have an app now!
and even a membership program.
We're just making sure folks are aware of our new rewards program.
In other words, he becomes the Amazon of weed. So what is South Park trying to say here? Well, on the one hand, that integrity in business usually doesn't mean shit. Going all the way back to the Gnomes episode of Season 2, we see that small business can be just as evil and exploitative as big bad Harbucks.
We're just using those boys for our benefit. They have no idea what they're saying.
But kids are great to get people on our side.
And 20 years later, South Park's message hasn't deviated much.
You know what they got? They got these e-scooters nowadays.
You mean the things that almost killed us all on Halloween? Yeah, I remember.
What if we use e-scooters to get the weed directly to the customers?
Those things that were once devoid of integrity are now the vehicles with which he sells integrity weed. And of course, the episode ends with this.
Integrity weed coming soon to a giant online retailer near you.
Complain all you want about Harbucks, Walmart, or Amazon, they're just gonna get replaced by something equally sinister. Because at the end of the day, if I don't get my GameCube adapter for Smash Brothers by Wednesday, I swear to God, I'm burning this to the ground. What's interesting is that the strikers and our Marxist in a box are cast in a pretty sympathetic light. Sure, Jeff Bezos has this to say about Josh.
See how the box ridicules commercialism in order to try and feel better about itself.
A sentiment of resentment echoed by the boys as they try to cancel the bike parade to obscure their own failure.
We're never gonna win the bike parade, but if we get it canceled, then everybody loses.
But as with the rest of the season, the message seems to be resignation. Strikers are encouraged to cross picket lines to appease their materialistic children.
Now there's kids out there who have better bikes than me because you won't get off your ass and work, Dad!
And Josh gets ripped open by a mob of gift-hungry kids. Jeff Bezos, as Josh says, makes
Too many useful things resulting in too many useless people!
but it seems we can't resist.
You need your Amazon Prime shows and your music and your books and your things delivered to your door like little presents to yourself.
In true South Park fashion, our only savior is a fake one. A fake claim to authenticity in the form of integrity that ends up just being repackaged and sold by a huge online retailer. Even though it's a functional Amazon, we're reminded
You don't want to be elite, because elite's got no integrity.
even our anti-consumerist dissent is just a regular part of the business cycle. It's not that integrity saves South Park, but the cynical interest of Randy.
Only I can really package integrity. I got more money now because of integrity. That's because I Figured out how to get tired of everyone.
What was once supposed to be a countercultural rejection of modern life becomes a symbol for the commodification of dissent. The bike parade, which was once a pawn in Jeff Bezos' scheme to break the strike, is now sponsored by Tegrity Weeds, City Walk, and La Taco. South Park 2 seems content to bask in cynical tegrity. As the boys try to cancel the bike parade, it becomes clear that the parade is a metaphor for the show and its marketing campaign #CancelSouthPark.
We demand you cancel the bike parade! It is nihilistic and out of touch with progressive thinking! How come everything out there is getting canceled, but when it comes to us, we just can't do it? I mean, are we supposed to just keep going? Just go on? Making total asses of ourselves?
Just as South Park was promoting itself with a half-serious critique of itself, the show is content to continue basking in the business of selling television ads with a half-serious critique of consumerism. Now, if you really want to stick it to the man, I recommend you try Wix. There's no better way to discover the true joy of unalienated labor than by designing your own website. A specter is haunting your future, the specter of not having a website. So go to wix.com/wisecrack to sign up today. The only thing you have to lose is your chains. And as always, peace.